Hi there. Do you want to hear something that is changing the landscape of how the gospel is preached across Africa? My name is Zada Wagner, and this is Be Inspired Africa. So, here with us in the studio today is a man known as the culture architect, a man who is an Afro Gospel musician, and he'll be sharing with us how he's doing this in Africa. So, we're going to be meeting a man called Gaise Baba. You're welcome to Be Inspired Africa.
Thanks for having me, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's Gaise Baba. Afrofusion, Afro Gospel, and culture architect. You know, my music is an expression and an extension of myself and my identity.
Yep.
And my essence. So faith is at my core, and my music expresses that. My platforms like Light Out, like Aramanda, like Black Flame is an expression, an extension of that. They are means of communicating the essence within with the aim of shaping culture. So just want to shape culture for Christ, man. But engage culture, engage systems, not just within the four walls of the temple. You know, I think basically that captures who I am.
Okay, excellent. So you talked about faith being at your core, and that music is an expression of your essence.
Yeah, my music is not an end in itself.
Yeah,
My music is a means to an end.
to an end.
So it's a tool, it's a weapon.
Okay, so are you proselytizing with your music, Afro Gospel, then?
Am I what?
Proselytizing.
A big
Okay.
word, man. What does it mean?
Okay, so I think in a nutshell, are you evangelizing, winning people?
Yes, I'm proselytizing. I like that word. I won't forget it now. Yeah, I'm proselytizing with my music. Yeah, you can say that.
Excellent. Anytime you see me, you remember the word
Yeah, I
proselytizing.
will definitely remember the word proselytize.
Okay, great. Tell us about your journey into Afro Gospel. How did it start and what inspired you to go into Afro Gospel?
I think it's just recently I called it that.
Yeah.
Or I officially took on that term,
Yeah.
right? I've been into music in total about 20 years, professionally about 14 years. And I graduated uni 2008, did my NYC, this program in Nigeria that all graduates have to do. It's like a compulsory service year to the nation. The government posts you to various regions of the nation to serve, with the education that has been invested in you, you know. So I served 2009, finished 2010, then straight out of youth service, I just went straight into music. And I've been doing that ever since, professionally and exclusively.
Yeah.
I'm a church boy, right? And so I started out making the music I wanted to make, which was music expressing my faith. However, it's always shown that I was different because I wasn't making traditional gospel music. I wasn't making church music. I was making more conversational, topical music from the standpoint of faith, which was very kind of like novel, new, and it was difficult to place me,
Yeah.
because I wasn't leading worship or leading praise. So it wasn't like it was easy for churches to like, what are we going to do with you? At the same time, it's not like the clubs want you to come and you guess you're just like caught in the middle. You're too wavy for the church, you're too churchy for the wavy. I was like there. So it took a while trying to really understand my difference and also realize the power in that difference. Took some years, but eventually I did. And thanks to God, started guiding me, started leading me in a particular direction that was different from what I had seen anywhere. That's when we birthed Lighthouse, started going around secondary schools. Because that's what we do on Lighthouse. We go around high schools, organizing concerts right in the school and leveraging that to proselytize.
That word.
you know,
Yes.
advocate values like dedication, delayed gratification, stewardship, abstinence, such values. And we're engaging 10 to 17-year-olds, young folks, teenagers, preteens, and all of that. So after doing that for like 2 years, then Aramanda came out, which is a festival. It's an Afro urban Christian festival that came out, and we organized first one 2019, organized another one 2020, took a break because of lockdown and COVID, came back last year 2023, Easter, December, did it again, went to Abuja, another city in Nigeria, did it. So all of these platforms have come out of obedience, but also understanding over time my difference and realizing that there's a power in that difference. You are not weak for being different. There's power in difference. You just need to steward it right and position right. And that uniqueness sets you apart from everyone else. And then you start to almost carve out a niche and build a unique, dedicated following to the work that you do.
Excellent. I think that really resonates with me. You mentioned difference. And this question would have come further down, but since you've mentioned it, I think we'll just talk about it now. With difference, there's always the challenge of acceptance. So, how have you navigated acceptance or a lack of it in the body of Christ, especially in Nigeria?
It's not today now. I've gone through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, even I struggled with it initially, you know, realizing that in many quarters the work wasn't accepted or the person wasn't accepted, you know. But like I said, as I grew and as I progressed and as I stayed true to my call and to my assignment, I understood that that's how it is for vanguards. If you're bringing something new, it's going to be difficult to accept. But if you stick to it, the world will align eventually. And now they're aligning.
They are truly aligning. I mean, I was at your show in London and I think it was excellent, phenomenal. Not only was it very uplifting for my faith, there were also intellectual conversations that were very stimulating. So it was like my spirit and my mind were being fed at the same time.
That's the idea. You get that's the idea.
I could see your mindset, I could see your values. It was shining through and it really, really resonated with me. So I really enjoyed being at that show. And I would definitely say the world is aligning. Yeah, the acceptance is coming. And I think within the body of Christ, especially in Nigeria, there's more balance every day. It's better than it used to be. And so people are coming to understand that Afro Gospel is a thing.
I feel like part of why the church is aligning is
Yeah.
the church has been struggling with young people,
Mm.
right? And pastors and church leaders have been trying to find how to connect with young people, and they've not found it. They've tried many things, they've not found it. So now they've seen that this is it. And so you either align or you lose the next generation.
Exactly. But I know that I really, really enjoyed that show because when you're going to have fun and enjoy yourself and unwind within the boundaries of God's word, your music gives me that, So being at that show, I can really understand how that can meet needs of young people in the area of something that they can enjoy.
Realize this on Light Out. Of everything that I do, of everything that we do, all the platforms that we founded, there is none that has my heart as much and as deeply as Light Out does. We are taking the light out. That's where the name is from, right? So the church is the lighthouse. It's where the light is developed, it's where the light is formed and all of that. But then that's not where the functionality of the light is for. The functionality of light is in darkness. That's where the effect is most felt and is most needed. And it's also in line with what I've shared in terms of like a house, the garden, the field, and the forest, gleaning from Ezekiel 47 that flows out of the temple, but does his healings and work on the outside. The river flows from the temple, but it doesn't do healings in the temple. It's outside. It goes into the city. Psalm 46 verse 4 says there's a river whose streams make glad the city of God. So if we are not penetrating and influencing the city, we are not fulfilling or maximizing our potential or our assignment or our work. It says go into all the world and make disciples of nations. Not like what we've done so far, a lot of is like just like within the temple. You get what I mean? So I saw firsthand on Light Out that young people are not anti-God. You just need to speak their language.
Exactly.
You need to speak to them in a language they understand. You need to come to their level and communicate to them. The word does not change. The message does not change. The medium changes over time. The gospel was not communicated in the 18th century how it was communicated in the 19th century. Neither is it communicated in the 20th century how it was then. So this fixation on methodology that church leaders have had will either have to be tweaked, be adjusted, and there has to be some malleability in methodology, not in the message, but in the methodology, in the mediums, in the communications, right? Otherwise, it's just gonna become, I don't want to say irrelevant, but you just, that's the closest word I can think about, right? You know, the typewriter is not extinct. There are still typewriters on the earth right now, but it's not in conversation. It is not in front burner because the computer is here. So that an institution is still in existence doesn't mean it is in front burner. You understand what I mean? So that's what it is. Young people aren't anti-God. And the fact that there is vibe doesn't mean it is less spiritual. That's what we should work on. Ensure that the active players are cooked in the presence, are developed, are discipled, so that they can churn out as spiritually deep content as anybody else. You get what I mean?
Yes. I think, again, that's a very powerful answer. You talked about presenting the gospel in a way that is relatable for young people. But some might argue that maybe not modifying the message, but the method of reaching young people. And not only young people, there are people who the mainstream way we do gospel might not really,
Yeah.
you will never be
I was
able
about
to
to say that. So it's not even just young people.
Exactly. They might argue that there's compromise if you change the mainstream method that we
How
are used
their compromise? What's the compromise?
to. So, for instance,
In
there,
appearance?
that's one, in appearance, in style. And people argue that a very big part of the gospel, how you appear. I think it's said that in the first 5 seconds, when people look at you, they just sum you up. And that's where unconscious bias can come in. So if people have been taught, that the gospel is presented in this way and people who present the gospel look like this, if you're coming with something different,
People who present the gospel have not always looked the same way. The current generation that is talking about how people who present the gospel look do not look like the people who presented the gospel to them.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
The Ayobabalolas of the 30s and 40s, the guys who led the revival in Nigeria now in the 30s and 40s, right?
Yes.
The leaders of the 70s, they don't look like the leaders now.
True.
Right? But if the word is true, the word is true. If you're preaching the risen Christ, you're preaching the message, the culture, and the values of the kingdom. Right? There are hardly any church leaders today wearing robes and the Orthodox cap and all of that. But those are the people who brought the gospel to Niger or to Africa. Right?
Yeah.
So appearance will evolve. In fact, the first generation of Christians as well, we're not looking like them now in appearance, because most likely they were all in robes with girding their loins, and they had long hair. A lot of them had long hair. If I have long hair now, they say your appearance is skinny boy. From history, then the Jews have long hair.
They did.
Jigge,
Yeah.
and they wore gowns, which was actually a function of their culture.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean? So
Yeah.
culture is dynamic. Do you get what I mean? Which is the reason why I can believe that I can superimpose Christian values on popular culture.
Yeah.
Because regardless of what popular culture is now, if I do not believe that I can influence it, I won't be doing what I'm doing. But I believe I can influence popular culture with kingdom values, with the message, the culture, and the values of God's kingdom. Right? And I can raise a generation that believe in abstinence before marriage. I can raise a generation that believes in doing the right thing. Because if you can raise that, then you can raise a better society, actually. Because at the end of the day, it's Judeo-Christian values that can transform a society. I say that anywhere.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I think I agree with that. I agree 100%. So you don't believe that some people might think we are shifting the goalpost a bit, and that if we've shifted it in this way, what's to say that somebody cannot shift it even more than that and find ways to say this is still gospel, our message is still pure, it's still true.
If we disciple right, we wouldn't have to worry about that. If we are scared of that happening, then it means that we are not confident of our discipling, which the Nigerian church actually should check out. Right? Because if we have well discipled Christians, Nigeria cannot be corrupt. Nigeria has the level of corruption it has because people who claim to be Christians are participating in corruption, period. If you have a sizable proportion of the population that actually depart from evil because they name the name of Christ, then the life will literally be snuffed out of that beast called corruption, because he's going to have to pass, for corruption to thrive, he's passing through different people. It's a chain, right? If you have a critical mass, you don't even need 50%. You need only a critical mass to be those who take a stand. And then it can't pass through. But we can't have as many churches. Leave mosques. Let's just deal with churches. You can't have as many churches as we have. And corruption is having the field it is having if truly the people coming to our churches are discipled and are living as Christ. Yes. Not just carrying that tag as per I'm not Muslim. But if you're really surrendered to the life, the ministry, and the tenets of Christ, it go show.
I think our fruit does show. Yeah, it will show beyond all of these other things. So moving on from that, with Afro Gospel,
Right.
what are some of the challenges you faced with doing Afro Gospel, promoting Afro Gospel, and also trying to influence pop culture?
I've gotten a new understanding of, not new understanding, it's literally like a revelation that God gave me like 3 weeks ago or so, thereabout, like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And it is that Afro Gospel is more than a genre. So what we think is like it's a genre, it's a style of music and all of that, right? Afro Gospel is beyond that. The West brought gospel to Africa, brought the Christian faith to Africa. The West is largely losing it. It's losing the gospel, losing the Christian faith. The churches are going empty here. God is sending creatives from Africa to nations around the world with the gospel. It's the flip. That movement is Afro Gospel. It's creatives coming from Africa, taking the gospel to the world. That's Afro Gospel. It's music, it's fashion, it's movies, it's spoken word. And you're going to see a lot more of it coming out in the coming weeks to months to years. It's a movement, it's a God wave. You will not know it is happening because churches will not be filling up, the cathedrals will be filling up. No, we're not going to be meeting them in the cathedrals. We're going to be meeting them in concert halls, festival grounds, cinema rooms. It will be art spaces. That's where transformation will be happening. That's where people will be having encounters, literally. That is Afro Gospel. And that's how I'm answering your question. I'm not answering with, oh, we're trying to push the music. But that's where we were.
Yeah.
This is where we are now. So I'm giving you the answer of where we are now.
Okay. You talked about encounters happening even in theaters, at concerts, and I really agree with that. And I want to say this for people who are Christians, but maybe very close minded. It's still the same God in the still small voice. It's still the same God in the fiery fire. God has different children. Even in the home, when you have different children, you don't train them the same way. The result you're trying to get might be the same, but you can approach them the same way. So we can't put God in a box and expect him to reach all of his children the same way. We are very complex beings and people are different. The experiences are different. So God will use different methods, still within the boundaries of his word, to reach all of his children. And when you talked about encounters, I think this is important. When people don't have personal encounters, something that you can say, God told me, or I know that if there was no divinity involved in this, that I couldn't have got through this season, or I wouldn't have been able to, come through with this. When you don't have those personal encounters, there's only so far you can go on what someone else tells you.
Right.
So encounters are important. And I think the message in your music, the concerts that you hold, and all of the other social impact projects that you're doing is a very good way to offer people, a platform to have that encounter. So I think that I agree with you 100%.
You can't run on someone else's oil.
No,
That's what you're saying. You have many Christians who have no encounter. So that's why you have many Christians running on pastors' fuel, not their fuel, not their oil. So now we're having like 5 wise virgins and 5,000 foolish virgins. Whose oil, in fact, you don't even have oil in the first place. Not even as if your oil runs out. So even worse than foolish virgins. The 10 virgins had oil in their lamp.
They all had oil.
But the 5 wise virgins had extra oil. Now we have Christians who don't have oil at all. There are different categories inside that parable. And the best placed people are not even the 5 wise virgins. Yeah. Because they too slept. By the time the bridegroom came, they had slept. It was the watchmen that came and woke them up in midnight. Come, bridegroom has come, bridegroom has come. Then those wise virgins now put their extra oil. The 5 foolish virgins are like, man, please, can you give us out of your oil? They say, no, if we give you, we too, our lamp will go out. Go and buy from those that sell. They went to buy. Before they came, the door had been shut. So we can see 4 categories. Those that are not even in the virgin conversation in the first place. No oil, no ground, nothing. The day church. Then the foolish virgins who have tiny oil, but no extra. Then the wise virgins who have oil and have extra, but they also slept off. Then the watchmen who stand watch, waiting for what he would say to me. That's Habakkuk 2:1. I will stand upon my watch to see what he will say. That's stand guard, alert, not slacking, not losing guard. That's the highest function inside that parable. That's what I want to be. I don't even want to be one of the wise or foolish virgins because they all slept off. I want to be a watchman who can see what God is saying, who can see what God is doing, who can see where God is headed. And you are constantly in line with that. You don't drop guard, you don't lose guard, you don't slip off, you don't trip off. Yeah, on guard. You get what I mean? So you have many Christians who are living on their pastor's fumes. You have to have encounters. That's what gives you strength in the day of adversity.
Exactly.
That's what anchors you. It's your encounter that anchors you through the storm. I mean, the Christian walk is very real. I wish I could let people know. Like, it's real. It's not just a religion. It can never be real to you if you do not have a personal walk with God, if you don't hear Him. It can't be real to you. You're just following what another man says. And you're moved by every wind of doctrine or the whims and caprices of someone else. You get?
Yeah.
People need encounters. They are encounters.
So, Gaise Baba, you are known as the culture architect.
Right, yeah.
So when we are talking about culture architect, are you an architect of kingdom culture or African culture?
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I was African before I was Christian. But I'm Christian first. That's a loaded statement. I was African before I was Christian. But now I'm Christian first. But I'm still both. Right? I'll always be African. I'm proud to be African. See, my pendant captures my essence. It has a cross in the heart of Africa. It says, made in heaven, assembled in Africa.
Nice.
That's what my pendant says.
Yeah.
I have the clear understanding. So I'm passionate about Africa, very passionate about Africa. But my own Pan-Africanism is different from all else, the way they've been doing it.
Yeah.
Me, my understanding, my firm belief is that Christ is the light that will liberate this continent. There's too much darkness, both spiritually and physically. The physical darkness is a manifestation of the spiritual one. Right? But not Christ in religious sense. Christ in an ideological sense. A way of life sense. A belief system sense. That's what I'm taking to the continent. So when I say it's a double-edged sword, even my fashion and my clothing style is African. I've almost practically discarded all the jeans in my wardrobe. Yeah. Right? My music shows I'm African.
Yes.
My music expresses my faith, but it still shows I'm African. So with the same move, I'm preaching Christ. With the same move, I'm representing who I am as an African.
Your identity.
Right? Africa is not synonymous to voodoo. It's not.
I was going to come to that next.
All this black power, this
Jump
new
in
wave,
there. Yeah.
this new rave. You say, so maybe like Black Americans and like people of African descent abroad
Yeah.
are trying to connect to the roots,
Yeah.
and their understanding of that connection to the roots is to be looking for black power and voodoo and Kinikon motherland and all of that. It will shock you. That's not what makes you African. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
There is no Ogun worshipper that is more African than me. You're not more African because you serve a different God. And you feel like, oh, these are the gods of our forefathers, even Christianity dates back to like 3rd AD, 4th AD, or even prior to that in places like Ethiopia. You can choose whatever religion you want to do, but you're not more African than I am. So when I say culture architect, it's first kingdom culture. It's the kingdom. It's also Africa. Do you get what I mean?
Yes.
It's not mutually exclusive. You know.
Yeah.
Na collabo. Yeah.
So those are two core parts of your identity, your faith, and obviously where you come from, which is
Yeah.
Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that brings me to my
Proudly African.
proudly
Proudly
African.
African.
And this is Be Inspired Africa, so yes. Okay, so that brings me to my next question. Sometimes when people hear culture or African culture, sometimes they think that it connotes something demonic or something that has to do with superstitious culture, something that is, archaic and. So, how do we change that mindset? Even for people from Africa, you see, sometimes people dissociating themselves from anything that has to do with culture, even if it's artwork, and people associating that with demonic practices
Occultic.
or occult. Exactly. So, how do we shift that mindset? As a cultural architect, how do you
I won't
tackle
say I
that?
know because I don't know everything.
Yeah.
What is given to me, I do. Nobody say I sharp like so. Nah, anything he talk, I just dey do am
So,
go.
yeah.
That's a line I just wrote yesterday, by the way. It's
Oh,
being a song.
good.
For instance, I read up on history. I read up on Mansa Musa, the Benin Kingdom. I'm from Ekiti. In my hometown, there's a festival that is done. It's called Ladunwo. When I was young, I went festival. I would see Ladunwo. I'm from Okimesi, Ekiti. It's like this masquerade just walked past and all. There's a place in my town that is called Igboagbono or something like that.
What does that mean?
It's an ancient type stuff. That's where Ladunwo comes out from. I think it was
Ladunwo
last
in
year.
masquerade.
Yeah, last year or 2 years ago. I heard about it. I just went home. I went to Kitty and there were two of my distant cousins to practice. And they were like, oh, there's that place. And can you come? I said, where is it? They said, "Can you go?" Your parents don't want you to go. Can you come? I said, let's go there. I went there. I entered the place. I'm not joking.
To do what?
To see.
Okay.
You see, that's another difference between the average, based on my understanding, the average Westerner and the average African.
Yeah.
From my understanding, a Caucasian sees something he does not understand. He tries to go there and see it and experience it and be like, what's this thing? What's it about? An average African sees something that looks mysterious and deifies it. We deify puzzles. We deify mystery. No, you're supposed to solve mystery. But you should have a mindset. I went there. I entered the place that I promise you, I doubt my father has ever entered there or my mother. I went there. Why should I be scared if I say that the creator of the universe is on my inside?
Maybe not scared, but if I know that.
Cautious.
A bit cautious, because if I know that the place I'm entering is the den of.
It's not the den of anything. That's the picture that's been painted.
What if you contact the spirit?
What are you contacting? How will I contact the spirit when the spirit of God is on my inside?
Okay, fair point.
The spirit wants to pursue the spirit of God on my inside.
So what are you doing in his den?
Which den? The earth is the Lord and his fullness thereof. The world and all who dwell therein. That's God's den right there.
A good one.
I went there because I was thinking if I get video where I want to shoot, where I need I said I go come shoot down for his place.
Oh God.
I will come and shoot video inside his place.
Yeah.
And there, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Do you understand? Why are you demonizing stuff? Or not everything is ordinary.
Yeah.
But nothing is above me.
Because Christ is in you.
Because Christ is in me.
Yeah.
Not everything is ordinary. But whichever realms of spiritual that you are from, you are beneath me. Because I'm seated far above all principalities and powers.
Amen. Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Unless the Spirit of God tells me, don't go there or don't do this. And he might have his reason.
Yes.
Which is not that it's more powerful than you, but you might not be time or you are not ready or whatever. You can't. You get.
Yeah.
There are places Paul wanted to go and the Spirit will restrain him.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So the height of your movement is direction. Exactly. That's why you need to have a personal walk
with God.
No here say I go one place, you two you carry your head and
exactly.
go there. You just do you like songs of Skiffer and pieces you. You
Exactly.
understand? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was going to come to that. That a lot of this still boils down to your personal work with God. Yeah. And how much you're able to hear Him, your level of alignment as well, so that you can hear Him and He can direct you.
Yeah.
Okay. So my next one is about Afro Gospel again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, some might argue that even though you're doing Afro Gospel, but the origin, Afrobeat, is not exactly rooted in something Christian.
No, the
or
origin
the
of
Spirit
Afro
of God.
gospel is not Afrobeat. The origin of Afro gospel is gospel.
It's gospel, but
It
the
is
sound.
writing through a medium.
What about the sound?
Yeah, that's the sound it is
The
writing through. The
medium.
medium is a vehicle. The vibe is a vehicle.
vehicle.
The music is a vehicle. The roots.
The root.
What's the roots? No, let's go into musicology. What's the root? The word.
Afrobeat, I
Where
would
is
think.
Afrobeat from?
I don't know where it's from, but
Do you get? No, what I'm saying is, okay, so
those who were the
wait,
pioneers
who is the pioneer?
in Nigeria, I'll say it's fella.
All right, where did fella get Afrobeat from?
I don't know.
It's a mix of African music, high life, and jazz. Yes. Okay, so you have to go to where is high life from? Where is African traditional African
Yes.
from? Where is jazz from? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you get there, you keep tracing. When you finish tracing all of this,
Yeah.
you're going to get back to God. You're going to get back to God. Because the devil ain't create shit.
Yeah.
Nothing. Satan didn't create shit. He just taught stuff. Trace every sound.
The origin of music is God.
Origin of music is God.
It's God. Yeah. So I think
So
I
there's
agree with you.
nothing out of God that we're taking anything from.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I think I'm more voicing the questions that
that people have, and that's why we're answering. They should bring questions to answer.
Yeah, it shows there's a lot of conviction behind what you're doing.
Sis,
Yeah,
I've been on this path for 2 decades, 20 years.
That's a man.
We're
who
not
had
joking
God.
here, man.
Yeah.
You think I'll stay this long without a conviction? This is no joke, man. This is as serious as any spiritual house or any spiritual man you know on the face of the earth. Tinted hair, small blinks. So it's not even bleak. It's not plenty. It's just one small chain. And it's a message. This one is Elijah level that is on it. It's written Elijah level. That's my reality. This one is my essence. Made in heaven, assembled in Africa. I carry this almost everywhere I go. Right? Leave all these things. I'm cooked. I'm a man of the presence. Don't let the container fool you. Content is cooked. Do you understand? My consecrations are solid. My consecrations are solid. Right? This is serious business. I'm about my father's business.
Great. And I think that ties into the next thing I wanted to ask you, that what has kept you so doggedly committed to the vision of doing Afrogospel and promoting Afrogospel?
I'm a man under authority. Authority is God. I mean, he's the one that works in me to will and to do of his good pleasure. So I just follow him. I hear him. I do hear him. And I follow what he says to me. And I do it. I'm a product of obedience. Any success you see, any platform you've seen me build is a product of me obeying an instruction. Lighthouse was an instruction that led to it. Aramanda came out of Lighthouse. Black Flames instruction is a product of a prophetic word. So if there's a superpower I have, it's the speed with which I respond to when I'm certain this is what God is leading me to do. I just move. You get coming to London to do my debut show out of Nigeria without any promoter on this end and executing it. It's instruction. So I think that's what has kept me is God and me hearing him and following through with what he says to me.
Apart from Afrogospel, I know that you also have a lot of social impact projects. You're not just about Afrogospel. The work of the gospel is at the center of all that you do, but I know that you have also other mediums through which you
Impact
promote
society.
this vision. Exactly. So can you tell us some of your other projects?
There's Lighthouse, which is the one that's dearest to me, and we go around high schools, reaching teenagers and preteens and advocating values that actually even align with Millennium Development Goals, Sustainable Development Goals 3, 4, 12, and 13. Right? Abstinence helps, to keep girls in school, different sustainable environment, because we are telling people to take care of their environment. So all of that we do on Light Out. You can check out lightout.org for more information on that. We also have just authored a book for teenagers that is called Anomaly.
Yes.
So they can check that out as well. It's just the work we do to improve lives, better society, and ensure that Africa is truly liberated. We started from our Jerusalem, which is our Lagos. From there, we go to Judea, Nigeria. From there, we go to Samaria, Africa. From there to the uttermost parts of the earth. As we talk now, UK we did, so the work don't start. We are doing nations now.
Excellent. Thank you, Gaise Baba. And earlier you talked about the vision God gave you and your passion and how you have pursued it and your conviction. But I know wherever purposes of God are being played out, there's always a strategy by the enemy to derail. You see, we saw that in the beginning with Adam and Eve, and it's still playing out every day till today. So I know that the attempts here and there, to derail you. So I don't know if you can share with us some of the challenges that you've had, things that could have derailed you and how you were able to stay true to your faith and your vision.
So your consecrations keep you. You don't joke with your consecrations, your prayers, your fasting, your word. That's what gives you the strength of character, the strength of person. And it keeps you centered. Your consecrations keep you, because as you yield yourself to God, He prunes you, knocks off things in you that the devil can find. So you can get to the point where Jesus was when He said, the prince of this world found nothing on me. So it's a continuous process. And that process is your consecrations that help you on it. That's the answer to that.
Thank you. That's a very good one. This has been a very insightful session. I think it's part 2 of my experience at your concert in London, where it was intellectually stimulating. It was, very beneficial to my spirit man as well. I was well fed, and I know that somebody out there, I hope that they have been inspired by your journey, inspired by the music that you're doing. And I hope that the conversation today has helped to uplift you in some way spiritually and to open your mind if it is closed against Afro Gospel. Okay. And certain ways that God moves through His people. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Ada Wagner, for having me. God bless you. Shout out to the Inspired Africa.
Thank you. Yeah, and I know that God will continue to do great things through you.
Amen.
I hope to see you maybe another time on the show, even bigger, even greater. And I know that you also have a podcast. So guys, go check it out, Black Flame Podcast. I've watched a couple of episodes. He's such a brilliant man. His mind, the way that he processes things, and go and watch it.
Black Flame with Gaise Baba.
Yeah,
all right.
Black Flame with Gaise Baba. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ada. God bless you.